I think I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm going to be, I think.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
I had to do this shit. I'm doing a music review stream later, so I was like, why not do this?
Right. This makes complete sense. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't
Thank you.
shave the rest of the beard, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm
those,
scruffy a little. It's you're lucky. It's mustache season, so
yeah.
it's actually totally fine. There's more overlap, than there would be during any other time of the year.
Did you expect this when I had to not allow you to see me?
No, I did not expect this at all.
Really?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been seeing you doing a lot of cosplay lately, which I mean, obviously, we will talk about. But this I did not foresee. This I did not, even though, I've got like this before. I did a stream interview once with Logic where he had the yellow flannel on, but
Really?
it didn't go to this extent. You've really sort of like with the glasses, with the head, the
Okay.
everything. You've
Yeah.
gone the extra mile.
Oh, I appreciate that. I was amped. I was like, yo, if we're doing another interview, I just gotta cosplay him. I think that would be hilarious. So
Right. Yeah. You don't want it to stagnate. You want to jump over the last time. You want to leapfrog the last time.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the effort. And, I appreciate the fact that it is consistent with what a lot of what you've been doing lately.
Yeah, I've been going absolutely manic to say the least. I think if I wasn't on antidepressants, I think I would actually have fully lost my mind at this point. But I've been having so much fun doing like a million content creator collabs, and I really truthfully think this next album is going to be like the biggest thing I put out. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean, let's get into it. I
fingers
mean,
crossed.
there's a lot of discussion. I mean, I'm seeing more discussion of you on the internet than I ever have before.
Yeah.
I mean, much more than when we talked last time. So much so that I mean, I've run across like comments about you where maybe you're wearing a new outfit or doing a new collab or something, and I believe I saw like a viral comment on you saying something. No one has ever wanted to be more famous than this man. Which
Yep. There's a lot of hate out there.
no, it's definitely hate. I guess like what I wanted to say, and on some level, and I'm not saying that to validate what they're saying, but I bring that up to say like you have been very active lately. Do you attribute that mostly to the antidepressants? Is it a part of like a manic feeling or moment that you're in the midst of, or is that you're just being a little cheeky there?
Well, I mean, I do think once I started taking antidepressants, I used to have this weird uh feeling online that I was always being judged and always this. And then once I
Mm.
started taking these antidepressants, obviously guys medicate responsibly, but it kind of just went away. Like I just stopped giving a shit.
Mm.
And obviously, if I say something and it like endangers my family, hypothetically, in a world of hypotheticals, then I probably wouldn't deepen that. But yeah, I've been seeing like AI gore videos of myself and
Really?
yeah, like some crazy shit.
Mm.
And, I get it, the AI developments, it's a little bit ridiculous, specifically like this new Sora update. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, yo, this has gone a little too far. Like I don't really do anything that should fundamentally upset people the way that I wake up every day and I read Baby No Money is the worst person on this earth. And I'm
Mm.
like, you know, I get if that's their opinion on me, that's their opinion on me, but it's just like I am literally just fundamentally just trying to have fun and like provide an outlet for people to have fun and know that like when you get older, I just turned 30 and my
Mm.
neck was out on my 30th birthday and it's like all I'm trying to do is just have fun and just like display charisma on the sense of like why would what like there's too much negative in this world, right? So I'm just trying to be a positive wrecking force for my fans and people who like look up to me and be as beneficial and as helpful in that sense. Like it's really not that deep. I just wake up and I'm like, what fun thing can we do today, and how can we make someone laugh, i.e., you. So it's like that's all I want to do is just make people laugh. Like
It,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I mean, a lot that we can branch off of that, but I mean, let's start with, and, let's lay this out and put it out clearly, because as obvious as it may be to you or me, I think there are some people who may still be, kind of confused or maybe not fully understand. Like, for as long as you have been making music and dropping entertainment on the internet, and it's actually been like, kind of getting attention, in some form or fashion, you've been making music or putting out music videos that, do have like that kind of humorous intent behind it to some degree. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of people would be surprised after kind of like, knowing that about you, hearing like, oh man, this guy's been like funny this whole time, but he's been like super depressed. Like, how does that work? Because, to anybody who has like a surface level read of you, they would probably think like, oh, this is like a really funny guy. He's really happy go lucky. He's always down for a good time. He's always seeming like he's in a positive mood. Like, where does that negativity sort of like seep in? Like, where is that being pocketed when you're kind of in your performer mode?
Oh, I mean, like, generational trauma passed down from my parents, like never
Mm.
being enough. You know, where do I pocket it? Where do I put it when I have to perform? I mean, I've definitely like become a extrovert through doing all of this. I was an introvert. I would just play video games when I grew up, and I didn't really have too many friends. So, I don't really know. I kind of just pride myself on having fun. And then if I'm having fun, like we're all gonna die, right? So it's like at the end of the day, I want to go down enjoying my life. And if I can enjoy my life and obviously document these last 4, 5, 6 weeks every single day, which is too much, and I won't do it again. But I want people to just fall in love with the world that I have provided them. And the best way of doing that is either be incredibly controversial or be incredibly positive or incredibly negative. And I don't have any reason to be negative. And controversy for me is like I just got 6-7 on my forehead, and now people like there's a rumor going around that I died because it got poisoned, and then it went into my brain, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I died.
And it's
So
not here on camera, so you must be a clone or some
yeah,
kind of body double
yeah,
or
I'm a
some kind
body
of
double for sure.
a twin, and the other one of you is actually dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. We're digging deep into
We're
the
digging
into the
very
rabbit hole there.
philosophical, let's say, right?
So I mean, now that you are a bit more stable emotionally, let's call it that, during the moments when you aren't having to sort of like really lock yourself into that mode where you are trying to be entertaining and funny and so on and so forth, like, is there, when you're able to kind of just unplug from all of it, is there less masking going on? Are you feeling less like you have to kind of like put that good mood on in order to kind of get it done? Are you just feeling like more kind of, I don't know, even like, less, I guess, like kind of rocky road or, pothole type experiences as you're kind of like, just driving down and continuing to experience life?
Yes and no. I feel like the only thing that I have noticed ever since I've been doing all of this music related stuff and like just being, chronically online as kids as the youth says these days, is just not being as like emotionally present in moments where I need to be.
Hmm.
And I think that's just a product of like me being just a workaholic. I'm pretty sure I said it on the last interview. I'm a workaholic, but my goal for this year is be chronically offline or chronically online. So next year I can be chronically offline.
Hmm.
That's like I woke up this year, or as soon as I started taking antidepressants, I was like, I am gonna stop them as soon as this year is done. I'm gonna wean off of them, and I am just going to live my life next year and change my whole genre of music, basically.
Hmm.
And not necessarily switch. I don't know necessarily switching up the tone of how I market my music, but just completely kind of like take a step back and let myself just make music and then put music out. Not necessarily in a Joji sense, but kind of in a Joji sense. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. Be a bit more shadowy about it in terms of how you're kind of putting yourself out there into the world.
Yeah.
Would you say that, it sort of drew you to medicating to deal with your emotional lows? Were those coming as a result of the conditions that you felt like you were in, as you were saying, like the generational trauma, certain things that you might be working through personally, and just kind of the stress and rigor of what you do? Or was there something chemical there that you feel like you are going to be able to move past once you do wean yourself off into the future?
Yeah, I mean, there was a period where I think it's called the honeymoon phase when you start taking antidepressants, where you're like your uptake is just actually normalized for the first time in your life. So it was weird. It was pretty awesome, but I was like working out a ton and I would wake up every day feeling like I was on MDMA. And I was like, is this how people normally feel every day? And I was like, damn, I have not been living my life. But that kind of like subsided a little bit. Um, I mean, realistically, it just came from I went through a really, really garbage relationship last year, and then I was like, okay, I've never felt this bad about myself and low about myself. And I was like, I have so much going on in my life, and doing music, being a public figure, and influencer, content creator, musician, whatever you want to call it, it is very taxing if you do want it to do well, because it's all based off of how much you can do, basically. Like it doesn't really matter the quality in some sorts, and it doesn't really matter in like it just basically is like the quantity. And I took the quantity route this year, and especially with the music. I mean, like my next album has 21 tracks, and I really think it's like a no skipper. I'm really really proud of it, and like
With that many tracks on it,
yeah,
it's a lot of tracks.
it's a lot of tracks and it's a lot of party. I'm really proud of it. I like, my music isn't for everyone. It's for me. So they can all get fucked if they don't like it, and if they think it all sounds the same. I'm sorry, I have a style. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I started taking them because I didn't really know how to deal with all of what I do. Like now I go in public. Something that happened recently. I was with my sister and my little nephew on Canada Day, and I was sitting on a beach with her and her husband, and we didn't have any privacy, and I wasn't wearing a mask and like a hat, and people just kept on coming up to me. And my sister turns to me and she's like, Alex, this sucks. And I was like, ooh, that hurt a lot. Oh no. So, that's not a normal feeling. That's not that's not something that anyone should be exposed to, is being recognized by random people on the street. Obviously I love the people that recognize me. They make my career possible, but it is a weird psychological thing that I have to deal with that I didn't really know how to deal with. Obviously I have a therapist and I talk to my therapist, but it's kind of just like, what was I really supposed to do? And then paired with probably the most tumultuous relationship I've ever had in my entire life, it was just like, I need to help. I need help. I don't know how to deal with this myself. And I think I'm going to take everything that I learned about how normal I can actually feel while being on these things and move forward with the rest of my life and being like, I know that that's just not right. How I should be feeling if I am overthinking or overwhelmed or over this or over that. So I'm just really excited to see what happens afterwards. And yeah, for the future. I mean, I'm only on 5 milligrams, so it just takes the edge off. But yeah, medicate responsibly if you guys ever need help.
I feel like you gave us a little insight into it there, but I'd like to dig into some of the negativity that's thrown toward you on the internet. I mean, I have a sense of this myself in my own experience. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the stuff that's said about me on the internet on a regular basis, but we won't get into that. In your experience, despite the negativity that you do often see on the internet lobbed toward you, does that or has that ever carried over into real life? Like you're talking about these constant or, repeated interactions where people are kind of coming up and saying hi to you and introducing themselves. But like, are you seeing any kind of differential between what people are saying about you online versus the people who might come up to you in person and say, oh, hey, hi, aren't you baby no money?
No, not really. There's only been a couple of accounts where people have been like, ha, one song guy, ha, like that type of energy.
One song guy?
I mean, the la 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 guy, the vibes.
I mean, it's like you've had so many. Okay, whatever. I mean,
but
you already know you've had tons of songs since then that have gone viral. But
yeah. So No, I always say like even if someone is keyboard turning online, they will probably come up to me and be like, "Hey, yo, baby, no money, I love your shit." Blah blah blah. Even though they go home and like, I fucking saw baby no money. I wanted to hurt him so bad. Uh,
Really?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can't
Hmm.
speak for everyone because
Hmm.
all the people. To be honest, like Twitter's like a cesspool.
Yeah.
It's the worst place on the internet, but it is funny because people are just so upset on that app. It makes no sense. Whereas like TikTok and other apps, it's way more positive. But
Hmm.
Twitter is like you look up my name on Twitter, you see some devious things that people are saying.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what do you feel like is partially the source of that? Not that, my experience on this front makes much more sense because, like, I get a lot of negativity thrown toward me, but I guess I could sort of like understand where it comes from on some level because I'm critiquing music, and for a lot of different people music is very personal, especially if it's a sort of music that they feel like, represents them in some form or fashion in terms of like,
Yeah.
what their identity is or who they are, where they're from. But you're not doing anything on that level. And yet you sort of have these people coming out of the woodwork to, hate on you and say awful things. And as you were saying earlier, like I've never had anybody generate a horrifying AI video about me like that. I mean, I have had some AI images and we'll talk about the AI stuff in a bit. But, what do you feel like is driving this negativity toward you, despite the fact that you do try to, as best you can through your platform, like exude positivity?
I think that's it.
Mm.
People don't like seeing people happy and exuding positivity,
Mm.
especially on Twitter. That's it, 100%.
Well, okay, so they don't like you being positive. They don't like me being negative. What the fuck do they want?
They're just unhappy. The people online are just like fundamentally pissed off at life. It's like I used to play video games. I was a piece of shit team member on when I was playing League of Legends. Everyone's toxic on League. It's fun. When there's no actual repercussions of being a dickbag online, why not just be a dickbag? Like I get it. I'm a troll. Like I troll the internet 24/7. That's kind of my stick.
Mm.
Uh so I'm just doing it for the laughs and not trying to impede on anybody's life. You know what I mean? Whereas like these people just are like, whatever. Like he'll never see this message. So just let's shit talk him. Why not? And it's my manager always says it's better to have people shit talking than no one talking about you at all. And I'm like, yeah, but if everyone was talking positively, it would be a way different story. But I don't think you can appease everyone. I mean, look at Taylor Swift's recent album. She like used AI in a bunch of her videos on her website or something. I don't really know. I was just seeing some
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
discourse, and it
And
was
like
just
some of the
like,
promo stuff, yeah.
I mean, I cosplayed her, and I made the engagement photos again. I listened to some of the album, and I was like, it's a Taylor Swift album. Like
Mm.
nothing like unbelievably mind blowing with production and everything, but she is dope. Like it's sick to have a probably like our generation's biggest artist without question. Just be a woman in a very male dominated space. I mean, like that's a fucking W if you
And
think about it in
also
the
on the
grand scheme
new
of things.
album, talk about how big her dick is too at the same time.
Yeah, I really like that she was talking about dick on the album too.
Since you just brought up the AI thing, I do want to say for an artist who, and I don't know if it's just like a personal thing for you, we can get into it because, you did kind of bring up some of those images that were, obviously upsetting. But, for an artist, and I'm sure you've seen this, who makes very entertaining visuals and music. I'm sure that you've seen a lot who tend to do the same or maybe have a lot of overlap audience with you or kind of keep things as positive as they possibly can. While I do appreciate the positivity, simultaneously, it does seem like some people are kind of like grooming those public personas and platforms to just be as predictable and as inoffensive as possible. So when something important does come along that sort of like requires speaking on, as it's, kind of a big issue that impacts all of us, that they're usually silent on it, by means of trying to like avoid some sort of controversy or something. But you've used your platform on numerous occasions, sort of like speak out against kind of AI generated art and music and visuals and so on and so forth. Like, what is it about this issue that has caused you to kind of like want to take a stance against it in the way that you have, despite the fact that like, social stuff, politics may not necessarily be what you typically, use your social media for?
Yeah. I mean, when I first started doing music videos with I always say this wrong, not videographer, director. He always corrects me every single interview. He's like, Alex,
You should
please.
be corrected for, that. It's very different stuff. It's a very
No, totally.
different, there's an artistry there. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So Sherez and I have been doing music videos that have basically no editing on all of them. It's like just one beautiful shot the whole time. And every single shot that we've done historically in the past is like, we'll find a local artist or a local drag queen, or basically we've pretty much hired all of Victoria, BC at this point to do something in our music videos. And every single time we've hired an artist, and it just like feels amazing to be able to be like, okay, we hired an artist, we commissioned the artist to make this beautiful work of art and didn't have to make it online or with generative fill or generative AI tools. And it just looks better. I don't know how else to put it. Like AI has not gotten to a point where it even looks remotely as nice. And it's also like being able to commission artists that have dedicated their whole life to something that is very quickly getting taken away from them feels good too. I mean, if I'm able to like uplift and platform musicians, artists, like anybody, why wouldn't I want to do that? It's just like spread the wealth, spread the positivity. And for instance, like my next music video that drops at 9 p.m. or tomorrow, I have a song called ADD, kind of topical. And I commissioned 20 different animators, and they animated 7 seconds of the music video each. I think it took 5 months. So it's been, and we just finished it today, and it drops tomorrow. So it's been a long time coming. And shout out to my graphic designer Turner. He's a fucking genius. He put it all together and like meshed it all together with like edits and whatnot. But I've never really understood why, if people, it's like a synergistic win. If people are like in love with my music and it's so like colorful to them and they want to go draw things to it and they want to make cover arts and they want to make small animations, why wouldn't I just want to commission them? You know what I mean? Like if they're spending their own time that uplifts me and I can uplift them, why wouldn't I do that? For instance, this girl Beckett McKell, she has done 4-ish animations to my songs, and I don't know what it is, but she draws like chibi baby no money, like little me. And every single video basically just blows a song up. I don't know why there's so much like affiliation with her and I with her animations and my music. It doesn't make any sense. So over the past like 2 years, I've just been really, really like jumping into the animation world, and it's also like beautiful. Like one clip that she had in this animation seemed like it was out of Nickelodeon or like Pixar level grade movement. And it's like, how are these people just like uploading videos on Instagram and creating and losing their jobs to AI? You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't really have like a super insane thought process about it, other than just like, why wouldn't we want to lift up people who do things really well and deserve to have the spotlight, rather than having to click one button and looking at like a grape open up and there's a dog that pops out of the grape. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the meme of all these other AI videos. Like, they are funny, but they're cooked. And it really moved me wrong when I saw myself inflicting self-harm to myself. I was like, all right, we've gone too far, and it's just out there. It's weird.
Yeah, and the realer it gets, the worse it's going to get in terms of sort of like, not even just in terms of like what it's potentially doing to art, but what it's potentially doing to society, because it's only a matter of time before that stuff gets more realistic and people are
Yeah.
having it do anything with anybody, and it's just total craziness.
Did you see like the Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant videos talking about eating cake?
I saw the Michael Jackson Prince video where they were talking about who had the better funeral.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, man, this is so realistic. I like, I'm gonna wake up any day with a video of myself like saying some incredibly offensive things, and I'm not gonna be able to do anything about it. And hypothetically, it could blow up on Twitter, and I'll just be sitting there and be like, okay, well, no one to talk to at Twitter because Twitter's a useless app,
Right.
and it's like it just has to live out there, and there's nothing I can do about it. So
Let's get a little bit into the music behind this new album and the musical evolution that you've been on as of late, because I mean it's been a while since we talked again, and at least in my view personally, you've come a long way since kind of being haha one song guy, and especially in your current era, you've hit upon this very cool, charismatic, funny, slick, almost like hip house kind of sound, which I feel like, even maybe your biggest supporters like early on wouldn't have like seen like, oh, that should be what he's doing. You know what I mean? It sort of seems like something that has become like your definitive vibe, your definitive sort of like, formula for a lot of your recent big singles, and they've been doing so well for you. Like, how exactly did you hit upon this recipe, and is this going to be kind of like the defining direction of this self-titled album that you have coming out in the middle of the month?
yeah, I mean, the album, I would say there is two songs that aren't four on the floor. So there's 19 other ones that are pretty upbeat. Like it opens up with like a Prodigy-esque Tyler the Creator Brockhampton feel song, and then it goes
Mm.
into like a like a like a stripper song. I don't really know how to even say it. Like some of this music is really, really fun. It's really upbeat. There's a love song, and then there's like a Drake slash Through the Wire slash like Yeet song at the end of it to finish off the album.
This is the triple threat.
The triple threat. Yeah, it's like one of my classic, like, let's make three songs in one, or three songs weren't good enough by themselves. So let's join them together and make a masterpiece. Yeah, I really think it's my best work. And it's definitely really, really good live music.
Mm.
A lot of it is like just upbeat. I don't really know how to describe it. When you listen to the project, you should expect fun. If you're expecting, you know, important lyricism for 2025, don't expect that. One of the lines says balls hanging low, so the pussy playing ping pong. It's like there's not much going on, but it's just like a good fun listen, and it's kind of like when you go listen to Yeet. Like you can walk around the gym and only work out traps, and then
Mm.
you're like, okay, yeah, bet, like let's flex the traps and look at myself in the mirror. And that's what I do when I go to the gym. I'll listen to Yeet or Leve, and Leve is when I'm like, damn, I really don't want to work out legs today. Uh, but it's really good walking music.
Mm.
That's probably the best way I can put it. It's walking, and then if you like doing drugs, come do some ketamine at my show. I don't know. Feel free.
I do like a good walk and a coffee.
Yeah, me too. That's my favorite thing in the morning.
I feel like and somebody in chat just kind of referenced this. It's been interesting to watch your progression and sort of almost watch like a little bit of the evolution in a way of how people kind of like perceive you and receive you, and the kind of mood and attitude that you bring in your music typically, because there was a moment where it almost felt like, you were almost like, a bit of a canary in the coal mine for, like, you know, a swagged out white boy who's goated with the sauce and isn't taking himself too seriously. And, you know, nowadays you have like Joey Valence and Bray, you know, who are like almost like, you know, bringing a similar energy where it's hype and it's over the top and it's silly. You know, it's not like taking itself too seriously, but it's also
Yeah.
not like perceived to be or sort of like categorized as like, oh, that's comedy music or that's like so ridiculous we can't even listen to it because it's just like not, you know, again, taking itself too serious. And again, it seems like you've been able to bring an artistry to what you do while simultaneously not sort of like, you know, tailoring it in a way to sort of please those people who are just saying, oh, well, he's just a clown.
Yeah. I mean, everything is cringe fundamentally. It just
Mm.
depends. It's all subjective, right? So I love Cardi's music, but the way that he is perceived, in my genuine opinion, is cringe. Like
Mm.
it, no one should be like that lit. You know, everyone is a human being, right? So,
Right. He's too nonchalant.
yeah,
The
he's way
nonchalance
too
is on
nonchalant, and
the nonchalance is
it's
on another level.
and I just was like, look, like if I'm a corny dude, if that's just going to be the nature of who I am for the rest of my life, so be it. I don't care. You know, I think that's something I do good. It's just being myself, and I'm I'm a 30-year-old unk trying to be in Gen Z, you know, pop culture, and I love it. I think it's fucking hilarious. Like 6'7", you know, it's like it's so unbelievably stupid,
Hmm.
but it really just you know, when you're up at night and you're like watching a video, I don't know if you do this, but you're like, wow, I really need to get off social media. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Hmm.
I love that. It really is it's like regressive in a sense for my mental health, but like progressive because it's everyone can seemingly enjoy the same thing or enjoy absolutely nothing. Uh yeah, I and that's basically it. I mean, I don't really have any like thought process behind my general progression of music. I thought when I made the song Nursery in 2019 and I didn't know what to do in the latter half of the song, so I just made it a house beat and
Hmm.
people loved that. And I was like, I actually like honestly prefer house beats back
Hmm.
then. And then I made edamame and then I started like sprinkling it a little bit more. And something about it, like UKG, the Euro sound, like Pink Pantherist, is just it's way more upbeat and enjoyable. Like Sammy Virgi is like one of my favorite producers. Um, so I think it is. I think it's. I just got bored of the you know traditional trap like halftime beat. Um, and it just doesn't have that ring to it for me. So I think this album is a little bit of just like an articulation of where my head's at with what I want to listen to. Um, yeah, I mean, I do listen to like Men I Trust constantly too, so it's always all over the place. Like
Hmm.
I don't really know why I make this genre of music, but it articulates really, really well live. You know?
It articulate, I'm sure it does. And I mean, I don't know, just from my own observations of your flow, of your voice, um, it just seems to fit, it just marries well with it. And on top of it, I feel like, you know, there aren't a lot of rappers or singers out there that are associated specifically with these beats on quite the regularity that you are.
Hmm.
So it does give you like a recognizability, it does give you a recognizability factor or a
Yeah.
recognition factor that, you know, I think that you, obviously you made fun trap songs as well, fun tracks off of trap beats, but like this feels a little bit more specific to you.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. I feel like the like jump up drum and bass world
Hmm.
has been probably the most inspirational shows that I've ever been to in my entire life because it's absolute mayhem. And like, you know, like Headaches and
Hmm.
oh, you got to look into his stuff. He has a song called like Semi-Automatic and it's absolutely ridiculous. There's like 4 or 5 elements in it
Hmm.
and all of the drops are just like the whole time. Uh, and I kind of just took some of the elements of like UK bass and jump up and just threw it into like North American accent. That
Hmm.
was kind of my thought process, and it worked with It Boy. And then I was like, you know what? Let's double down because I really really like this song. And then I made two, and that worked. And then I went through a breakup, and I released a sad song, and that worked. And It just seems like everything seems like it's fucking working these days, and it's like it's awesome. I did, yeah. I'm really blessed to be in the position I am. Like last time we spoke, which was like 2021, I think, something like that.
Hmm.
And I was like definitely dealing with a little bit of like musical identity issues. And I was like, I don't really know where to go with this project because La 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 was such an astronomical success, and I was like shooting blindly. But now I'm just making music like exclusively for myself and just making the most fun shit possible. And it seems like it's really resonating with like a certain audience out there. So um, I have no complaints. Like
When
it's
you talk
awesome.
about this, after you're sort of done with this album cycle, and I imagine also kind of like touring a little bit more behind the record, um, where do you potentially see your sound or your direction going after you've been able to put yourself into this unplug period? And are able to really experiment with what you do. Are we talking about potentially like a really radical shift here? Are we going to do like a Bon Iver indie acoustic? We're in the cabin over the whole winter type project, and we're doing
I
just a
mean,
whole sad one, or
if I'm making sad music, I'm like shirts off with the boys, like joking about it. To be honest, like that's just the nature of how I make music. So
right.
it's like, damn, how nah, we can get more sad with that lyric.
Mm.
It's like that kind of energy. Um, I don't know. I haven't really gotten that far, but I mean, Bon Iver, like for Emma, that album is one of my favorite albums of all time. Uh, I mean, I don't think my vocal pocket really fits in the world of Men I Trust sound music, like alternative rock.
You're
But
really like gravitating to that sound in your mind. Like,
I, I
has
could
that
try it.
sound? I mean,
I'm,
well, I'm just saying, is that sounds like really been haunting you? You're like, man, it would be cool if I could try this.
I mean, if I could be Mac DeMarco, sign me the fuck up. Um, I love Mac's music.
Go for it.
I mean, I could honestly do it. I feel like most of the music, if I try, it comes out pretty decent.
Mm.
Uh, but I've definitely been like, I texted Dylan Brady like a couple months ago. I was like, dude, we got to get in on some like left field shit. Uh, and he was like, yeah, maybe. So maybe there's a world where I take a left field turn with more, I guess like esoteric production,
Mm.
uh, and do more like singing vocals. Um, but I would love to be able to make glimpse of us like 20 times in a row
Right,
because
right.
it's
I was going to say
really,
after you said that, I was like, well, you're really talking about going in a Joji direction.
yeah. I mean, I have made some singer ballad-esque music, but I
Mm.
don't know what my tone of that world would be like well. Uh, but I have like I've only put out 4 songs where I fully sing, and 3 of them are my like biggest songs.
Mm.
So it seems like my audience would love for me to make more thoughtful music and less ba 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 music. But I mean, I like the ba ba ba, so who cares? It's like
Mm.
my parents are proud. What else do I really have to do?
Right.
So yeah, I would assume it will be more in the line of like an electronic Joji slash, I don't know, like it's an upbeat, like what's like an upbeat, okay, no, not Benson Boone, but some of the similar tempos of the Benson Boone. Yeah. Moonbeam Iceberg.
Like that somber kid, I don't know, who's popping off on TikTok
Yeah,
right now.
Somber's popping. He's so tall. I saw a video and his pant leg was like this wide. I was like, damn, you are a massive human being. Um, but yeah, his music rocks too. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Well, would something more toned down, or where you're singing more? Do you feel like lyrically that would entail you kind of like, and you've already written that breakup song, like you had said. Do you feel like that would entail you sort of like trying to be like, okay, now I really have to like share myself, maybe in a way through my art that I haven't before, or do you feel like you can go in that direction and still kind of like keep it casual lyrically?
I don't know what it is. So I started being a quote artist ages ago, and I started it off in poetry, and that's how I got into making rap music that I say basically nothing. But
Mm.
the reason why I think I'm good at rap music is because when I would look at my poetry, it's all open to interpretation. So I never really judged myself for saying anything or if I was meaning nothing. And one thing I am really good at is like being poetic but sad. I'm really good at being sad. I don't know why. I was just with Jeff Ellis. Do you know mixing engineer? Do you know?
I
Um,
don't know him personally, no.
he's incredible. But he said today, he's like, I can't wait for your singer songwriter stuff because you are funny, and all the most funny people can be the most sad. And I'm like, real. So I don't know where we'll go with that, but I need to open up about the hardships in my life and stuff like that. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I can just be relatable with my experiences of what I have had in like a relationship standpoint.
Yeah,
Um,
it could be abstract as well. You
yeah,
know, it doesn't need to necessarily, you don't need to necessarily write a book, you
yeah.
know?
I mean, the meant to be song that I put out in October about the breakup, that was like completely spiteful. I wanted to drop it. I was like, fuck it. Like I'm hurt, so let's drop it. And I wrote it end of it was like the beginning of October and then put it out end of October. And I remember like a couple of my producer friends were like, this is the fastest song we have written and mixed and mastered and put out since like SoundCloud days, Alex. This feels awesome. You should do this more often.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to go through a breakup anytime soon. Got a solid, healthy relationship. So, uh, but I'm sure we can talk about something. I just don't
Yeah.
really have any negative feelings these days, and I think that's the product of the antidepressants. So I probably have to get off of
Yeah, yeah. You might need the depression to come back to tap
them.
to tap into that. But like, talking about that element of your process that you just like kind of made a reference to, like with your growing visibility and platform, have you found it collaboratively that like it is taking you a little bit longer to like come out with songs? Are you spending more time like changing lyrics, fine tuning certain parts of the instrumental or other elements of these tracks?
The mixing process is always a doozy, in my
Hmm.
opinion. I feel
Hmm.
like I have an annoying ear. I
Hmm.
wish I was a little bit more hands off with that regard, but I mean, hey, you got to make good art, and I will say all of my songs are mixed really well.
The
I take
mixes are
yeah
important.
yeah the
You know,
mixes are
for
super
as
super important.
for as many people post that fucking meme with the emote and it's got the glasses on and the sad face and the buck teeth and it's like, I don't like this song. The mix, no. I mean, it's that emotion's real.
Yeah.
So
But honestly, like when it comes to making music, I don't think I've sometimes I'm fast, sometimes I'm slow. I will say like trying to make a song that's like a 7 out of 10 to a 10 to your
mm,
opinion on what a 10 is. I don't think uh it's just easier to make a new song.
mm,
I think I made about 250-ish ideas for this recent album and came out with about 21. So it's a pretty good hit rate, I would say. But it really, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't really know how I make music. I've kind of just did it for so long at this point. I've done it for so long that, like, I don't think about it very much.
mm.
Um, yeah, I kind of just do whatever I want. And I get in the booth and we just spit out a bunch of ideas and hope for the best.
Mm. Something I wanted to ask you that I was referencing way toward the start of this conversation was just all of the well, I mean, it's apropos, just all of the costumes that you've been in as of late. All the cosplay, all the dressing up, which obviously has made a lot of your recent music videos and promo pics and everything very entertaining. This interview itself, um, what has, aside from the fact that obviously people react to it, I mean, has anything else kind of like inspired this spark in you? It's like were you seeing something or feeling some type of way about your literal image, and feeling like it needed something or feeling like there were things that you could do with it that maybe just weren't grabbing your attention or coming to mind earlier?
No, not really. I did drag about 5 years ago this time. I think it was in like August or something in 2020. And in that day, I remember I was walking around the Victoria, BC, and I went into a coffee shop and I was like, "Yo, give me a coffee," and I just said, "Give me a coffee," and they just gave me a coffee immediately, and I was like, "Oh, that's so impactful that." It's obviously a very, very, very progressive city, but I never felt like that before, and I wasn't myself. And some days I wake up and I'm like, I've been myself for 30 plus years. Why not be somebody else for a day? And if the internet enjoys it, that's amazing. I just cosplayed as Sailor Moon, and I used to watch Sailor Moon growing up. And I used to watch Fantano all the time, and here I am, right? So,
Right.
um, I think it's just nice to know that you can put a smile on someone's face. Like you giggled. It was all a practical joke, and I literally just wanted to either make you pissed off or really like, wow, he actually tried. That's nice. So there's no real reason why I do it. I have a lot of fun doing it, and it's like if I can also once again commission cosplayers or makeup artists that want to be included on something fun, why not? Um, but there's no real like deep, profound reasoning why I do it, other than like, why not just be someone else for a day? I don't want to be Baby No Money today. And I don't think it
Mm.
was like a branding like ploy. I don't think it was. Uh, I did this JVic cosplay. And it popped really hard on Twitter. But the same day, Elon Sig heiled, and we were basically protesting for, we were protesting for gay rights. We were displaying affection online, and there's these two characters in Arcane called Jace and Victor, which is like a League of Legends lore. And
Mm.
because Riot is owned by a Chinese company, they can't really canonize this gay love.
Right.
And I just remember having such an impact and on such a negative day that one of the most powerful persons in the world is out here doing that. I was like, we can make a positive impact, whether it be small, at least it's positive. So I was like, why not do this more often? And it was also just really fun. And I looked dope as shit. And I used to play so many video games that it's just like kind of being like a video game character or like a TV character for a day or like
Right.
a music critic, who knows?
Yeah, or like a music critic. Anime character, music critic. I mean, it's the same thing,
It's the same thing.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
in the minds of some, at least, in the minds
Yeah.
of some.
Yeah. How many people
um,
dress up as you as for Halloween?
there have been some years where a lot of people have, and I've encouraged it more, but I haven't been sort of doing what I can to encourage it as much these days. But I probably should maybe give people a heads up and just let them know that if I see them doing that, I'll um, shout them out or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
to anybody who's watching this now, let that be known that will be the case. Um, because that is a comment that I get sometimes when people run up to me on the street. They're like, "Oh, wow, Anthony Fantano, I dressed like you for Halloween once," and I was okay. I mean, that's a cool fun fact to learn from people. I mean, the love has got to run deep for imitation is flattery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it must
no, for
be.
sure. No, no, for sure it is.
Oh, I can see you blushing. Okay.
No, yeah, yeah, no, I'm most definitely blushing. Yeah. So much negativity online, even right here. Your wash Taylor ended you. Charlie is a coke addict. It's a come on, chat. You're just being so mean. Now,
Taylor,
Kiss, we
Taylor,
would we
wait, Taylor ended you or me?
probably all of us put together.
Yeah, there
Now,
it
Kiss,
is.
we would if we were in person, but we can't right now. Plus, also, just like if we kissed, I'd be biased immediately after. And I can't,
Yeah,
I can't, I got to stay an unbiased critic.
fair enough.
Um, will you review this album as me, and then I can review your review as me?
Which album?
Your next album, your upcoming album.
Wait, how would I? Well, yeah, after this, I'm gonna review my own album for my YouTube page.
Then I can review your review.
Yeah.
Okay, bet. It's a
Wait,
deal.
that's actually funny as fuck. I will do that. That's
Okay,
a really good idea. Let's do that.
okay. I'm gonna review your review.
Amazing. I like that a lot,
Okay.
actually.
All right. That's the plan. So I'll leave you to that then.
All right. Well, dude, thank you for your time, and it's always nice to chat. I'm sure we'll cross. Wow, I can't even.
Cross path
We'll cross paths soon.
very soon. Yes, we will
Yeah, very
cross
soon.
paths very soon. Well, it was nice that you came on, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Anthony Fantano.